Judge saw the girl making secret signs to her dog and instantly stopped the trial. At a very important trial, a little girl asks a big white dog for help. The dog reacts instantly, and the judge suggests the child take a break. But the support of the animal turns out to be so important and timely that the girl's words completely change the course of the trial. One unusual day, in a bustling courtroom filled with murmurs and anticipation, a little girl named Hannah stood at the center of attention. Small and delicate, she barely reached the microphone, her heart racing in her chest. It all began months earlier when Hannah encountered a mysterious stranger on the street, who, with a kind smile, had invited her to play with puppies in his large black van. Hannah was a smart girl and remembered her parents' constant warnings never to talk to strangers. She firmly refused, despite the stranger's persistent attempts to lure her with tales of his playful puppies. Just as she was about to waver, a passerby appeared around the corner, startling the stranger. Nervous, he quickly retreated to his van and drove away. What could have been a tragic story now continued in the courtroom. Little Hannah didn't fully understand why she was there or what all these people wanted from her. She only knew, as her parents had explained, that her words could help put a very bad man behind bars. She glanced around the room filled with unfamiliar adults, their gazes reflecting a mix of emotions: curiosity, sympathy, concern, and even anger. Her parents were also sitting in the courtroom at a distance from her, so the girl felt lost, like a small leaf in the whirlwind of an autumn wind, trying to find its way. Suddenly, Hannah's eyes met those of the same stranger who had called her to play with the puppies in his van. The man's gaze was cold and piercing, making her even more confused. Remembering her encounter with the stranger on the street, Hannah's voice shook violently and became barely audible. And it seemed as if the girl was about to collapse right to the floor under the weight of the ordeal. She tried to be strong, but fear and helplessness gradually took over her, making her forget everything in the world. And at that moment, when she felt most vulnerable, something truly extraordinary happened. The doors of the courtroom swung open, and everyone present turned around to see who dared to enter here right in the middle of the trial. But it wasn't a person. It was a dog, a white boxer named Carl, who undoubtedly knew where he was going and why he had come. Carl was no ordinary dog. He was a therapy dog trained to help and support children in the most difficult situations, such as this one. Hannah immediately felt the tension leave her body. The dog slowly approached the girl and lightly nuzzled her with his warm side. In the eyes of the animal, it read boundless support and understanding. Next to Carl, Hannah suddenly felt that she would be able to speak further. The girl looked at the judge, at the jury, at all present, and realized that she was not alone. Interestingly, Carl, the dog, was completely deaf. This, however, was not a disadvantage to him. On the contrary, it allowed the dog to better focus on supporting Hannah without being distracted by all the noise around him. Carl was trained to understand the gestures of human sign language, which allowed him to communicate with those in dire need like Hannah was now. Carl's trainer, Joanne, put a lot of effort into training the dog. She took on the real challenge of training a completely deaf dog, and in the end was able to turn this disadvantage into an important advantage. Moreover, Joanne adopted Carl as a puppy when the dog's owners found out that she was deaf and wanted to euthanize her. Joanne took pity on the pet and decided to train him as a therapy dog, which she had been doing for years. Under her guidance, Carl became not only capable of helping people in need, but also a great symbol that any limitation can be overcome if you find the right approach. Carl did not often appear in the courtroom. Mostly, he helped deaf children to adapt to our troubled world, communicating with them in the same language. In the courtroom, seeing Hannah's excitement, the judge offered her a break and a recess. But the girl refused because, next to Carl, she finally found the strength to speak confidently and clearly. Her words now resounded loudly throughout the courtroom, where everyone present could hear her story. Carl had been lying at the girl's feet the whole time, occasionally lifting his kind eyes to her, reminding her of his presence and support. Hannah detailed at trial the day a strange man persistently called her into his black van, promising to show her the world's most beautiful puppies. The defendant's attorney then began asking Hannah difficult questions in an attempt to confuse her and make her doubt that it was the defendant who had spoken to her on the street that day. Hannah actually almost recanted, but at that moment, Carl, the dog, put his soft paws on her and gave the girl confidence. So Hannah pointed at the stranger again. Hannah had only met Carl for the second time in her life, but the kind and friendly dog had already become a true friend to her and had helped her through the enormous tension in the courtroom. On that day, Hannah's words became a very important piece of evidence against the defendant, who eventually received a life sentence in prison. Hannah, next to Carl, felt that she had done the right thing, and the unhappy parents of the other children, who never returned from the stranger's black van, could not hold back their tears listening to the words of a just verdict. The story of Hannah and Carl quickly spread far beyond that courtroom. It became a symbol of strength, courage, and the extraordinary support that therapy dogs can offer people. Carl became more than a hero to Hannah. He became a symbol of hope and courage for everyone who heard their story. This case underscored the vital role therapy dogs play in court proceedings, especially in helping young witnesses navigate the stress and pressure. Carl and his fellow therapy dogs are now valued as integral members of the judicial system, offering comfort and support to those who need it most. Carl's story didn't end there. He continued his incredible work, helping other children like Hannah conquer their fears and find the courage to speak the truth. Today, having a therapy dog in the courtroom has become common practice, offering invaluable support to young witnesses. This groundbreaking use of therapy dogs has demonstrated how they can profoundly impact court proceedings and provide essential comfort in challenging situations. Together, Carl and Hannah faced a challenging trial, becoming a powerful example of resilience and mutual support. Their story proved that even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through when you have a trusted friend by your side. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.